should probably do this somewhat professionally, so you can get back to your family. Welcome back to the Dead channel. Thanks for being here. It's been a while. Been over a year, actually, I think, since I made anything outside of some sort of meme or TikTok. So we're pretty good. But I'm not alone. I brought backup. So Jay from Mountain Goat Gaming is here with us today. And what we're doing is we're going to be reviewing a little bit of a tournament battle report that we recorded from a recent Fates event, which is quite cool, from the Queensland League. So, yeah, some big events. And then you're running a Queensland League event, I think, a week after we're filming this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So my event will be coming up in about 5 days' time. It'll be 700 points, single dayer. It'll be a Queensland League 100-point event. So you can see some, well, we'll call it like a stock standard run of the tournament. So you can see some nasty lists, but you can also see some fun, fluffy newer players there too. So I'm really excited. It's my first actual solo TO event. And yeah, I think it's going to be something pretty special, because I'm looking to do this one, like these type of events, quite frequently throughout the year.
Yeah, perfect.
So,
They're pretty cool. Like so the one that we filmed for this it was like a 500-point event run by another person in the league, Dave. And essentially it was like a Fates event. So basically it had some like cool special rules in and around these 500-point games. And so what we did was, we filmed this is sort of essentially the people that are playing for third and fourth right now, which is quite cool. And then the next video that we're putting together will be the decider for first and second. So what I'll do is I'll share my screen, because you actually haven't seen this yet. So let's give that a go.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The special rule that Dave likes to put in for these events is he gives a single die as like a walk-in gift. And the way it works is he calls it a Fates reroll, and that can be used per player, per turn, a single die roll, like one reroll, almost like in 40K, like a CP reroll. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's what it is. It's been a hot minute since I've referenced something 40K like, but basically you can reroll anything but a reroll. So if you mess a fate up, you can re-roll it. If you mess up a priority, or you want priority, you can use your fate point re-roll for that turn to choose to elect to re-roll it. So that's Dave's little fun Fates re-roll, just in case it pops up in the video and people don't quite understand why people are re-rolling dice randomly.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And it's a single die. So for example, if you're doing a Malbeth save, and a Malbeth save is for 2 wounds, you get to reroll one of the die. You don't get to use one of the save for both dice.
Yeah, that's right. And if you're doing it for like courage or something, you actually have to reroll both. So you can't just roll like, say, a 6 and a 1 and then fail and reroll a 1. You reroll everything, which was a weird thing. Yeah. So slight note, I need to restart this because it won't let me share screen without restarting, which is real weird. So I'll see you in a sec.
Fuck yeah.
Sweet, there we go. All right, so without further ado, this is the actual video. So I will ensure that it's not too loud, so it doesn't kill you. But you haven't seen this, so hopefully you like it. If not, we'll see what you do after sort of 46 minutes. Always a nice cheeky intro. Always a nice intro.
Yeah, that's clean.
And also stole it. Completely took it from somewhere and then just like cropped it to get rid of the watermark.
Get it in. Get it in.
There it is, mate. There it is. There it is.
Whoosh.
Oh man. So yeah, this is the game: Army of the Dead versus Helm Hammerhand. So I got a bit of a breakdown really quickly,
Oh.
uh, and I might slow this down a little bit, but basically it's like Helm and the King. Well, I went a bit quick. Essentially, though, the Army of the Dead breaks after losing 12, and then Helm will break after losing 13. And they're playing Domination. So,
Domination or Lords of Battle?
Lords of Battle, that's what it was. My
Yeah,
apologies.
it just came up on the screen there too. Okay, so Lords of Battle, I'll quickly run us through just so we can have a bit of an intro while they're setting up. Just so, in case we've got some newer players, they know what we're doing. Excuse me.
Oh, it's okay.
Lords of Battle. So 24-inch deployment, so they can basically deploy, 2 inches away from each other, which is looking exactly like what Helm Hammerhand, the Rohan, are doing, which makes sense. Helm Hammerhand wants to get in as quick as possible. So for this scenario, this is the wound tally one. So basically each opponent, or each player rather, will keep a tally of how many wounds that they have scored throughout the game. If you score more wounds than your opponent, you get 3 victory points. If you score twice as many wounds, you get 5. And if you triple your opponent's wound tally, you then get 7. You score 1 point for causing a wound on the enemy leader. You score 2 victory points if you kill the enemy leader. You score 1 victory point if the enemy force is broken. And if the enemy force is broken and you are not, you then score 3. The special rule for this one here is each time your force kills an enemy hero in a fight, one of your hero models in the same fight regains a point of might lost earlier in the battle. Very, very nice. So basically blood and glory.
It's funny. I read those rules when I was putting this together, and then I started to kind of tally the points, and all I did was I just tallied points for kills. So you'll see a slightly different scoring tally out of 12. I think it comes out at like 24, so we'll see. But
it's interesting here that the Army of the Dead has actually gone to pretty much like a completely different, like almost like a Camford edge as to where the Rohan is sitting. Because like realistically, apart from Helm Hammerhand, Rohan are just going to run into that wall. They're all D8, they've got terror everywhere, and just slam into them, right?
Yeah, I mean, so the breakdown army list for Helm is you've got Helm and a captain. There's a few riders of Rohan, obviously a banner, and then essentially it's like a front row of standard warriors of Rohan with axes, and then the back row is Royal Guard. So they've got bodyguard, they're fearless, so it takes that away.
So this is the Legion?
Yeah, this is the Legion. Yeah,
cool.
So Helm gets a free. I think a free might every turn for like heroic moves and things, and I think you can call a free heroic combat from memory.
Correct.
So he's quite versatile, but he's also only 5'5".
Who cares? At 500 points, this is his time to shine, right? Because there's not many things that could take him down at 500 points. What does the Army of the Dead have?
So it's the King, and then they've got 6 Riders of the Dead on horse, and 2 Warriors of the Dead with shield, and that's their own captainless warband. So that's the second warband. The first warband is King of the Dead, Warrior of the Dead with shield and banner, and then 6 Warriors with shield, and then 8 Warriors with shield and spear. So like model count wise, Helm is up by 2, 24 to 22. But like you said, Army of the Dead is just causing terror, and I think this move here is clever, in the sense that he doesn't have to worry about failed terror checks. It's just holding between 2 bits of terrain and then letting the Army of the Dead player start to come in. At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm in 2 minds about this move. My opinion is you by the Rohan player kind of holding a choke point. It's a decent choke point that he's holding, right? The Army of the Dead will have to take at least 2 up to 3 turns to swing his line to then maximize as much as he can and get as many fights in as possible. So he's going to use the cavalry as much as he can, like what we're seeing right now. But the Rohan also has throwing spears. And in Lords of Battle, it could be a case of, you know what, a couple of, I know you're waiting on, like, what is it, sixes by fours.
Yeah.
I know it's going to take a while, but at the same token, too, you've got time. You're Rohan. You have to kite here. So I actually think it's almost a bit premature just jumping straight into combat. Because if you can kind of soften or at least take away cavalry off those Army of the Dead boys, and then let Helm come in and then smack onto the side, like what you're about to see. Next turn, Helm's going to wrap around and do his thing.
Mm.
I definitely think that's another option that we could look at.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I find it interesting that the cavalry in Army of the Dead are D6. So, they're the weakest thing. Like, if you hit the horse,
Mm.
you're more likely to kill the horse.
Well,
So,
it's
one
also
thing
a case
to.
of you get wounds, like you get wounds for killing the horses here too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tally,
Yeah.
right? It adds up. I think with this as well, the Fates, this special mission objective outside of the reroll is to hold the most central piece of terrain, which is that kind of like pink foresty thing that everyone's sort of
Mm.
near. So it seems to me that they're kind of
Interesting.
jumping straight into it to say, well, this is how we get the extra point.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think matchup wise, wounding on courage with Harbinger is quite good because,
Gotcha.
what are you, courage 3 base? You get down to courage 2,
Correct.
and it's just gross. But I think we
Yeah.
got some throwing spears. That looks like a miss. What am I doing next?
They'll
Actually,
probably just be getting straight into combats.
can you hear that? Do we turn it up a little bit for you?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it. How's that? Is that better? How's that?
Not enough to be distinguishable.
Cool. That's all right. I won't worry about it then. I'll get it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This just looks like they're in the first round of combats here. So I'm expecting the Rohan to take at least 3 to 4 casualties here and effectively bounce off each other. It is very interesting that the Army of the Dead cavalry have kind of swung to his right,
Mm.
because that is definitely going to be a pincer move where Army of the Dead, they're just going to hold there and they're not going to move,
Yeah.
right? But whilst the cavalry come running around here, I think this is actually quite a smart play because Helm will lose his cav bonuses going into them, but Helm has to be the one to answer that threat. Otherwise, Rohan's going to find themselves trapped very quickly.
I agree. I agree. So it looks like the Army of the Dead won that one there.
Yep,
And they got a kill by the 4+ with the Harbinger winning on courage as opposed to toughness.
correct.
Or as a 5 and a 4. So someone should be dead. I feel like they're checking rules. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Two are dead. Ugh. So I think it's
Big.
2-1 at the moment for a trade.
Yeah. And see, this is the thing. This is what I would, as the Rohan player, I would be trying to avoid as much as possible. You're not going to win these fights, especially like you're banking on the Royal Guard being that fight 4. Army of the Dead of fight 3. So you are winning fights, sure, but jeez,
I
you
think
lose those fights, you're losing bodies.
that's gross. There's another 2 dead. No, you're absolutely right. And I think Helm buffs them, so they're all fight 5 or fight 4. They get +1 fight within 6 inches of Helm.
Oh, you're so right. He's the only one that's an actual AoE effect. Correct.
Yeah, everyone just gets better.
Correct.
Everyone just gets better. But
Jeez, look at the gap that army has created literally within the first fight phase. That's insane.
that's rough. So the king is in fight 5. Roll a 6. So I believe it's a roll off. And I feel like the evil player is Army of the Dead technically because he's undead. I think is the way that they ruled it.
Fair enough.
You know,
Makes sense.
he's a ghost, but he is dead. And then we're coming up to the last 2 fights here up against the Cav. So we've got a 5 high and a 4, and I think he's outside of banner range based on that 3. And there's another dead one. Far out. A bit of a preemptive move on that second kill, I think, taking the extra model.
I think this is really interesting, and this is talking like to exactly what I was saying before. in the sense of Rohan have gone in quite prematurely to try and jump into a D8 a war that's going to win them on five. So Helm needs to get in on the next round and do some massive, massive work. Uh, and use might here because he's getting so much free might. He's going to have to use might to make sure that he's securing at least 2 to 3 kills a turn to really swing this back in
Yeah,
Rohan's
absolutely.
favor. Whilst the rest of the army, I think, just runs. They need to run away.
Yeah, I agree. So this is a slight breakdown of the tally. So you'll see it says 6-2 because I've kind of just tallied up kills at the moment at the top, and I've used that as points. But I've also got a breakdown of the break points, so how many models each side needs to lose,
That's
and how
cool.
much remaining might they have on the table. So Helm's
Great.
still got all five with him and the captain. The King's only got one. But you're right, Rohan's lost six models to the
Correct me if I'm wrong. The king has the 2 heralds to help buff him up as well.
no heralds in this list.
Oh, damn. Okay, so he's very low
Correct.
on might. Okay, well that's a saving grace for Rohan at the moment. Helm needs to get in to do some absolute work.
Yeah,
Hopefully, it's
absolutely.
Rohan priority.
All right, let's see. Did that play? I think that played. Yeah, it's playing. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. But no, that line is ragged. Like that is just.
It's big. That's big.
I think Rohan priority again. The only good thing, if you are going to go in, you now have space for a bunch of fearless people to just hit them.
Yeah, definitely, but I don't think that's the objective right now. I would completely abandon that secondary objective because there's literally no point you trying to hold that central position. You need to. Oh, interesting. He's going for a wraparound. I just want to know where Helm goes. I just want to
Mm-hmm.
know where Helm goes. He definitely can't get to those horses, so maybe he just slams into the middle, send a fight five dude into the king. That way they're equi fight, and bank on a roll off, and then just move on and try and stack as many dice into Rohan's favor so they can win on the fight. Because that's the one weakness of Army of the Dead is they only fight three.
Yeah, as soon as you kind of equal them with anything, and everything in this army, realistically, as long as it's within 6 inches of Helm, is good. So I think a little bit of a preemptive move and a failed courage check there,
Yeah,
which is interesting because everything has spears, and I believe their gentleman's agreement was that all of the warriors of Rohan will be piercing striking because it's irrelevant.
yeah,
Like,
that makes so much sense.
yeah,
Yeah, moving on natural sixes.
correct. So I feel like that's something that's going on. But then this is where we're starting to see that fearless thing. But I think you're right. I think he's trying to make a bit of a space here now for Helm to
See
come
where
in
that
front.
Royal Guard just moved up there? That's exactly where I'll be sending Helm.
Yeah, like in the back just there. Sorry.
Yeah, so literally, where Helm is, if you draw a line directly up the screen where that Royal Guard just moved in, that's where I'd be sending Helm into those two guys to swing around and start just kind of mowing through the
No.
Army of the Deadline there. It's really interesting that he's held Helm back for this long.
I agree. I agree.
So typically when I'm playing my turns, I always look for like musts, what has to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and then do that first, and then I go into models that have options. For example, Helm is a must. The Royal Guard in front of him are a must. They have fearless. They can go up and tie certain parts and just clog that line.
All right. Oh, there we go. So I think Helm's been put into an area a little bit different to probably where you would have put him, but he's gone into the cav.
He's gone. Okay.
So he's right up the top, right next to that destroyed wall.
Oh, and correct me if I'm wrong, that looks like 3 people on that combat.
Correct.
Okay. The cavalry can pick off 2 of them as well. I'll be really interested to see what the Army of the Dead does to retaliate. It's interesting that he didn't move the cavalry like further away. Like
Mm,
just send one cav up, screen at least one of the is there four cavalry over there?
there
Send
is,
one
yeah.
cavalry up, use your base size and the 1 inch either side to just screen that little section off because you know that a couple of them are going to go around and do exactly what the Army of the Dead are doing and just take people off the fight because now Helm, hopefully, I don't really know I can't really see because it's not like a top-down view, but it looks like Helm's heroic combat is not going to be as vital or important, efficient, for God's sakes. That's the word I'm looking for. As efficient as what it was. I just kept going through adjectives there.
Yeah,
It's not going to be as efficient as what it looked to be, because that I think the Rohan warrior to Helm's left is actually going to block it. Maybe, I hope not. And I hope that Helm can actually punch a hole through there and start getting at least into another two guys.
it yeah, it's like it's an interesting position to be in, right? Because you've kind of just replugged the gaps that you lost,
Mm-hmm.
and now you've got a heavy
You
hitter
lost six
in.
last turn.
Yeah, so he really needs to start getting in and getting that work done. Because if he doesn't, you're just going to fall behind really quickly, and the game ends on a 1-2, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
as Rohan, you've got -1 courage, which means that the Warriors of the Dead are winning you on fours.
Correct.
That's a 50-50 if you win. And with the way these things are stacked, like yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
And to be so, just to kind of touch on what I was talking about with last round, a really cheeky play that you could do with this list is just play for I'm got because there's no shooting in Army of the Dead, right? So if the Rohan player kited the whole game, you know it's not going to be fun to commentate. However, if he gets a couple of wounds here and there, let's say he gets two wounds, and then all of a sudden Helm goes in, smacks into the line, spends his 3 point of might and the heroic combat to win the fight, and then just jump back 10. And then repeat that process again and again and again. The Army of the Dead do not have a wild card to that. They have no answer to that whatsoever. The only way to stop Helm is through magic, at which point this army has no magic to stop him with. So this looks like Helm.
The Helm is so he killed that horse. I think he's trying to
Yeah.
figure out if he can get through the gap, which he can't.
Which is,
Based on-
yeah, so that's exactly what I was talking about before. So now all of a sudden Helm, who were wanting to even out those fights, yeah, goodness me, that's gotta really hurt.
I think that the good thing about this though is that he's put himself in a good position to boost that
High
plus
five.
fight bonus to the two just standard pleb Rohan models that are there that were fight 3
Yeah.
are now fight 4.
Yeah,
So basically, you're winning all ties now, right?
correct,
Essentially.
correct. Yeah, we are full stop because they're all fight four now.
So I think that's I think that's
Oh,
not bad. But mate,
that's the only saving grace for combat with Rohan at the moment.
oh mate, this
It's
is
interesting.
there's a dead guy.
It's at the very least, it's a case of it's a really tense first two turns. Normally, my first two turns of every game is just like I've moved a couple of models and done some magic. That's it.
Look, I don't
This
get.
game's like straight to the jugular, slamming ground pound.
I think that's what makes it good. On a slight side note, I tested the list that I'm bringing to your event actually against the Bears and destroy the supplies. It was great. I managed to get my opponent's supplies and then I just tried to kill myself as quickly as possible to Bjornings because I just
You're not gonna outfight them.
I think it ended up being a draw anyway. It was great. It was great fun.
That's
Just
awesome. Hey, for Bjornings, that's a great result.
that was good. I think I killed maybe one. But all right, so it looks like Helm is winning some of these fights here, or at least Rohan's winning some of these fights here. But I think, yeah, you're
Just
right.
pushing them back is enough.
Yeah, because you're not killing them,
He's
right?
not,
Unless you're
correct. You're never going to kill him.
no. This is just insanity. Also, the models I believe are MESBGs for Army of the Dead.
If this is Dylan's
It is Dylan. Yeah.
Army of the Dead, he's got some really great conversions that he sent through. And I'll have a quick look. He sent me some to confirm for my event, and they looked really, really cool. He's done a very great job.
Mate, they are.
Very great job. Very good job.
So at the event, Dylan was my first opponent with a friend of mine, Monty. So we ended up playing a 3-player game where essentially we just did King of the Hill because there was a slight delay with someone showing up with a bit of delay in traffic, I think. So instead of having someone miss out, we just went, yeah, we'll just take a 3-way draw and we'll give it a go. And it was epic. It was probably the best 3-person game I've ever played.
That's great. Yeah, no. So this is his King of the Dead. Oh, that's good.
You
Yeah,
have
great.
disappeared.
Yeah, hang on.
No.
Nah, hang on. Forget about it. It's the Medbury, and he's painted them up like with a white and a blue contrast over the top. It looks really nice.
I agree.
Oh, 9 now. You know what? It's half as much as what last turn was.
Mm, And it's the same amount of losses for Army of the Dead. So 2 and 2. So the loss on the Army of the Dead side's been consistent. Might's still the same. It's just getting closer and closer.
And I hate to say it, but if Helm had been able to get his combat off, that could have been 6.
Mm. Oh
Just
yeah,
halfway, because, next turn, Rohan could break.
mate. I'm going to be honest. I'm keen to see what they do. I say that I put this together. I know what they do, but I am excited because this game is probably one of the best games I've ever seen. Even
That's
just from
awesome.
like a top down perspective. Okay, so we've got a
Mm,
full Army of the Dead priority.
correct.
Um,
That's
so
not good. That's not good. I'd be 100% calling the heroic move here.
hmm,
Because right now he's just going to go through and plug lots and lots of gaps. Oh, there's no heroic move. He's just let it happen.
mm.
Interesting.
I think the reason he might have done it is looking at the top right. So Helm struggled to get through that gap between the Rohan line and the wall. And obviously, you've got two lots of control zones there that you need to get through. So if Dylan goes to plug that in, Helm can kind of just tag into the end and then run around, I think.
It's definitely a play, but at the same token too, if Helm can just kind of run around. Look, I don't have the tape measure in my hand, but I would have to assume that Helm could literally jump back into the same position that he was before
Yep.
and touch one of those guys, at which point a cavalry model can come through, take off Helm's cav bonus. At this point in the game, you have to do a bit of a Hail Mary just to even out. And what you're doing is putting more fights onto Helm, which is better odds at hopefully winning because you've got Might to burn.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah,
Because, I mean, this is 5-1. But there you go. Dylan's plugged the gap himself, I think. So he's coming and he's touched
which,
everyone,
yeah, yeah.
appropriately so. And then
Hmm.
he's going straight back in to the cab to stop them getting their charge bonus. Um,
Hmm.
and so the two cav models, actually, I think I haven't talked about this. So obviously that's Helm, and then the cav model behind that's a captain. So that's the other hero with mine.
Gotcha.
That's just kind of been
Cool.
it's been a bit stationary, I think, at the moment, and just
But
yeah,
so see, this is the issue now where Helm and the captain are fighting themselves in. It's like, where do they go? You know what I mean? Like they can literally get one more model and then jump in and kill another model. Like if Helm had been in that spot with the captain backing him up, like that's getting more momentum and busting through a hole, which is again what you really, really want Helm to be doing here.
yeah, I agree. I agree. All
And
right.
that's the hard thing playing lists that are so strong, like character heavy, like Gil-galad, Elrond, let's pick a non-elf, Beornings,
Yeah,
Bears,
yeah,
Gulliver. If you don't play those, like Elendil style models really well and get the most out of them, your troops feel the brunt of that because you're banking on the fact that your character is going to help even out that fight. I mean, the Helm Hammerhand still has some fantastic troops in this front line here, but if it were me, I would almost put Helm at the front of this. So Helm's obviously won the fight. He's killed. That's what the sixes and stuff were just in behind.
hmm
But now I'm just wondering where does Rohan go next?
I mean, 10 inches is a big move, but
But see, this is the thing. He can't go through that tree.
yeah.
Like where can he go? He wants to get into two different combats here.
So he's just
And it
going to
looks
keep
like
going.
that route near that combat is blocking it. Where is it? No.
So that was the
Yeah, see,
courage
so
just
that
to get in, I think. Sorry, yeah.
yeah, well the captain's just had to sit in the back again.
Yeah, just waiting, right? Like he's literally sitting there waiting. So this is the fight against the king, and the king's lost actually. Rohan's rolled a
Yeah, well, there's a
six.
six there.
Um,
And there's no might to burn here.
no, this is
He's
just
only got one might in the bank.
So let's see what happens. Um,
This is getting me hyped now. I'm actually in the process of, so I'm
oh,
just finishing up my Arnold.
sorry,
Helm,
that's fine.
Helm.
I thought that was Helm on the king because that's the king right there. That's the king. King's 10. So maybe we rewind because we couldn't. We just didn't see how well that was actually set up. Uh, Makes sense as to why the captain moved out of the way.
Okay, who knows, bro? I will sit here and shut up. That's
All right, thanks for the masterclass there, Sam. We'll
cool.
move on now.
Cool. So instantly, we're now talking a 2 point swing, just in that. So now, what the Rohan needs to do is look to not break or break and break the
Mm.
army of the dead. I don't actually know what the army of the dead courage is, or if they like are they all fearless? I feel like they
No,
are.
they're not fearless, but they've got good courage. It's like 4 or 5 from memory. Could be wrong though, so just chuck that
Okay.
in the
Okay.
comments. But it is quite high.
Okay. So they're not gonna. Yeah, can't bank on them running away like with an evil army.
No, but also
But like, there's no
importantly,
stand fast.
Harbinger's gone. So now you're winning on fives, not fours.
Damn.
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
they? I
yeah.
thought they were strength three, and if Rohan's courage three, it's still fours.
Uh,
Or Royal Guard courage four.
Maybe they are courage four.
I would check right now. Rohan is not an army that I dabble in, unfortunately, so I'm not 100% on the stats. Luckily, I have an app that makes my life so much easier. So let's go for this one here. Add warrior. Rohan Royal Guard is courage three, so the other guys are going to be courage three as well. So it's still fours.
Still fours.
Still fours.
I feel like these guys play it as fives for the remainder of the game.
Okay.
So this is the swing.
Ooh.
Look at that. Look how close that is. 12 out of 13.
They're lucky.
Like you
Lucky.
are,
Rohan needs one turn to really. I want Helm Hammerhead to kill 6 models this turn. Please.
but I would love it. I want to see it. Also, I think as well, like the king, because he's got fate and stuff, that's gone now as well, right? And that still counts as
Mm-hmm.
wounds, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So he's absolutely destroyed that
Yep.
bit. But yeah,
Yep.
bees dick away from breaking. Just
Definitely.
on
And
it.
it's such a massive thing now. So basically, Rohan get to call all the priority shots now.
Yep. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I mean, holding that one might, I get it. It makes sense because you want to goes back to
Challenge a move. Correct.
or even if as the king, you want to make sure that you get a wound or 2 wounds through on an enemy hero so that if they mess up their fate, they're just dead.
And the captain, actually, by putting the captain in the middle there after the heroic combat, it was actually a really smart play in the sense of you can use the captain's might because he is in such a central location to make and maximize the most of that priority. I honestly, if I was Rohan, I would send one cavalry model to tie those two cap and then send the other cavalry around to try and get the wrap.
Apparently, we are running out of time. So we've got 10 minutes to go. I'll quickly pause it and restart, I think.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not that everyone needs the secrets of how we do this. So Helm's gone back into just a single model again. I think the good part about it is that Helm's kind of like he's boxed out in the sense that you can't get anything else into him.
Yeah, but you can also just move that banner away, you know what I mean? Move that banner out and then send Helm into at least two while the rest of your army just kind of sits there and ties up. If those cavalry move away, those cavalry cannot get in to take or turn Helm's charge bonus off, which against infantry is massive, which is how he's going to get the kills, right? If those cavalry models move away or even just sit, Helm can still just go into them. So, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that could have been a bit more efficient on Rohan's part, but I also don't think Sam plays Rohan a lot. This feels like a newer army that he's jumped into as well.
It was a beautiful army, though. Beautiful list.
Oh, it
And
looks
just
good.
the display board was really quite good. There was like a wonderful Rohan village kind of setup, which was really nice. So quite
And
enjoyed
see
that.
now here, see the gap that Sam's just. I think he moved a couple of models, and he was like, "Oh, hang on here. I actually just left a whole section here for 40 mil base cavalry to run through."
Yeah.
Hell, you could, yeah, good. The captain's now in.
And the captain's strength 4 as well, which is handy for D8 because it's just sixes. So with might,
With might, there's still might too. Yeah, he's still got two might for goodness sakes. I would be spending captain's might for kills here.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm.
Because you just need to shore that up, right? Like you are one away from breaking. And I get that if Helm's alive, your first, it's a hero of legends, so your first stand fast is going to be great, and it's a 12-inch bubble, which realistically is probably going to hit everything on this board because they haven't really moved from where they are.
No, no. Which is pretty much exactly the way that like Rohan have held out about as much as I expect.
Yeah,
Okay, so Banner's getting the main bulk that line. Yeah, the cavalry did move back. Interesting.
do you think?
I would send the cavalry over to where the other two cavalry are to help just put some pressure on because Helm swinging this way. Maybe keep on cavalry for like an anti-charge buff as you can, but Army of the Dead are in a really tough position at the moment in the sense of there's no might on the board, there's no leader on the board. They are just rolling dice and rolling with the punches here.
Yeah, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
heroic combat from Helm outside of banner range. I
Yeah.
think he was one guy dead, and then it was punching.
Again, here's the thing: where does he go? Who's he going into? How can you get into two guys here, not just one? Or how can you take guys with you to maximize um, your heroic combat?
Yeah, exactly. I think they've moved on to Helm again, and it looks like.
Yep,
Oh no, that's a lie. My
that's not
apologies.
Helm.
That's not Helm.
Oh, he killed the horse. Interesting.
6 by 6. I believe that is a dead model, which was good. So I think he got the charge off on that one, and then
Yep.
depending where they go, 1-on-1 for the next horse. It's dead. You hate to see it. It's as a Rohan player, my first ever army. I always feel sad when the horses go down. It's Pelennor Fields all over again. You're just looking at it as Mumax stomp all over you.
Yeah. I ran a 500 point Helm's Guard army where I had I think 15 Royal Guard mounted, and Helm and a captain. And it felt very offensive at 500 points because you couldn't catch it unless I wanted you to catch me. And I was very selective with fights and this is where I'm talking about the whole efficiency with heroic combats. Every heroic combat I was calling, I at least had a royal guard or a captain or someone with me to kind of go boom, boom, and keep moving.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. Um, I completely understand that. I think there's some debate here. Oh, there we go. Someone's checking some rules. Just on that second camera. All right, what do we got? Oh, no, someone's dead. I think this is where they get into the idea that they need fives to wound. So I think this is where Dylan probably does himself a little bit here, stitches himself up ever so slightly. So they're both well, 1 into a 6 for the banner, 2 into a 4. Yeah, that's where they stitch themselves up because I think they've gone back to strength and defense, not strength and courage.
Unless we're wrong, I'll just quickly read up on the Army of the Dead
Unless
in
they're
case
strength
we've
2. Are they
we've
strength?
missed something. Did have done Harrow. No, they're strength 3. Special rules, Blade of the Dead. They have messed that one up.
That's all right.
Well, gentlemen, interestingly enough, they've actually got sword or axe, so they could actually take piercing strikes all the time. And they're only D7, not D8.
D8 with shield.
Like inbuilt. Yeah, but like inbuilt they're D7, which is not bad. Like they're a dwarf stat line without a shield, which is Yeah, kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I would almost, I think, would you just piercing strike then with the axe?
Yes.
It's every
Yes,
time,
I
right? Like
would.
you wouldn't worry about it. As
I
Army of the Dead,
would.
you'd just deal with it and
Yeah.
be like, I'll go down to
Yeah.
potentially D5. All right, so I think this might be a good time to break this actually and come back in a second. Any final
Okay.
thoughts on number of kills and breakpoint and what this looks like?
Well, obviously Rohan are broken now, but the gap that we've seen from Rohan to Dead of Dunharrow still remains at, 4+ models. So it's still sitting at 5 more models that they've killed. Um, yeah, really, really interesting. Now, really interesting. I'm keen to see what happens next. If I was a Dead of Dunharrow, I'm going to be looking to try and kill the horses, kill the rider, and pray that Helm whiffs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, right. All right.
interesting. Righto.
I'll
See
see
you
you
in a
in a sec.
minute.
There we go.
Playing progress.
All right. Let's crack this back on. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely getting into the last 2 rounds now.
Also, I moved the cameras because it's my little ADHD and I have to adjust things. So now it's in the top left as opposed to bottom right. But also,
Cool.
it's so you can see dice rolls a bit better.
I like it. I think, yeah, nice position.
Yeah. So, and these guys were good because they didn't move too much on the board,
Yeah,
which was nice. Like I
yeah,
didn't have to try and figure out how to just pan the camera and move it around. Um,
interesting. So I'd say
uh,
Army of the Dead priority. I wonder if Helm and or the captain will pull something here. I think they're mad not to.
yeah. So I think Helm, he's measuring up, but he's actually testing to see who's going to break. Sorry, who needs to take a leadership test?
Which maybe might be that rider down the bottom corner, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think so. Because what's Helm's stand fast? 6 or 12?
I want to say it's 12. I think it's a big one. And I'm actually just wondering if his standfast affects characters.
I don't think it does.
Not that I remember reading anything, but it'll be interesting if he does. Helm's Guard.
Anyway, while you're looking that up, Helm has passed his courage test, and he's gone into 2 riders. And then based off that, I think he's hitting everyone within 12, except for the character. Um, and I don't think
It's just a 6 inch.
is it just a
There's
6?
nothing. There's nothing that says here about a 12-inch standfast.
Interesting. Maybe. Oh, actually, no. I think what we just witnessed there was. Oh, hang on. There's a throwing spear into a throwing spear kill. The first
Massive.
throwing spear kill of the game.
Massive. See what I mean? Like, and it happens. It happens.
It's always the best when the dice are on your side. No, I think what they were measuring up was the distance between the cap and stand fast. There's another hit.
Uh,
Are we doing this? No.
no. God. You know what? At this point here, I think putting Helm into those 2 cavalry just to stop and spend might for kills here. Like man strength 5 Burley with I think 3 might here, maybe 2 might.
3.
I would
He
be
hasn't spent any might yet.
Jesus Christ. I
Yeah.
would be spending my hit to guarantee those 2 kills. I wouldn't even worry about horses. Just take the heads off and move.
Yeah.
The Army of the Dead, are they the horses? Are they any lower defense?
D6.
So they are D6. Oh, okay. Helm's got that in the bag.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no.
No, D8, man.
The horse is a D8.
No, the actual rider. I don't
Oh yeah,
care
no, the
about the
riders. Yeah,
horses at
sorry. I
this
think that
point.
the whole. I think the actual horse is
Oh,
D6. That's what I thought you
no,
were talking
no,
about for
no,
like
no. At this
achieving
point
kills.
here, I would kill it and get it out of the way because now Rohan is basically this is their game to lose in the sense of on that 1 or 2. Um, I think the wound tally might be up because currently um, they're broken but not broken, so they're 3 points to the leader points too. And if the wound tally's higher, Army of the Dead have it in the bag.
Yeah. Yes. All right, hang on. What have we missed? Oh,
Just people moving into combats and tying people up.
so it's looking okay. Everyone's looking really ragged. They're very thin. Um,
Very.
very thin. Oh, mate. I'm actually quite surprised, and I know this might be a waste. Um, but I'm quite surprised that. Oh, hang on, that's three high off Helm. Banner. Five. There we go. Oh, Banner. No, it's Helm. Helm. I'm quite surprised that Dylan didn't put the Spearman into Helm just to try and stop this particular combat as a. Oh, so we got a two, a six.
I'd be spending 2 might here, hands down.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Hands down.
makes
Get rid
sense.
of him.
But I would have,
Good.
if it was me, I would have put the
Because
Spearman in there. Or is that just a waste of bodies to try and stop?
no, well the spearman would have stopped Helm from doing a combat, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
That's
right?
a missed opportunity for Dead Done Harry because now do you see what Helm's just done here? That's what Helm should have been doing since turn two.
Yeah,
Turn two. And then honestly it's not really much of a game, but the way that Army of the Dead have been able to kind of hold Rohan off it and use that ill decision, I'm gonna say, to their advantage has been really good. So well done, Dylan, for holding off this long. But like I said, Helm, if you don't have any magic at 500 points, is so hard to deal with. He's
yeah,
so beefy. Mighty hero, heroic combat, strength 5, barely. What's not to love, right?
mate, just beautiful. It's the kind of stuff that I don't know. This is terrible, but it's the kind of stuff I wish Rohan had now. Like I get he's a hero of legend and it's great, but I'd love Eomer to just Theoden dies and suddenly he gets heroic combats because he's just angry. Like he's just angry all the time, and it's like, okay, here you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Aim is such a letdown model. He really is. Stat-wise, beautiful. In comparison to everything else in the list of Rohan, subpar.
oh wow, hang
Rohan
on. That
6.
is, yep, there we go.
That's from the captain.
And I think he has used the extra point of might there to kill two models. So yeah, there's no might on the board anymore. It's done.
Really interesting because I thought Helm had spent 2 might.
You know what? I think this is the
Instead of
second
3.
time they've miscalculated stuff and they've made it three.
Because he rolled a 2 and he only needs a 4 with +1 to wound to kill because he wounds them on 5s. Not okay. Yep. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Oh wait, is it fives or is it sixes?
It'd be 6s down to 5s.
So it would have to
No,
be.
no. He's strength 5. Strength 5's first 8s. It's 3 above. No, it's 6s. Don't worry.
That's all right. Disregard us again, Sam. We love your gameplay, and we're really proud of what you do because you are just great.
Uh,
But
this
yeah,
is how I play too. Hey,
oh mate, Army of the
I'm not
Dead.
someone.
They have. Oh, hang on. That's Helm killing a bunch of stuff. I think we're going to see a banner here.
Hmm.
And that is, yeah, that's done. Now, actually, that's an excellent question. So, Dylan had something in base contact with the banner. Um, obviously, Helm's killed the banner and the thing, and the model next to it, right? Is my understanding. Or maybe he just went into the banner. Anyway, can you hand it over if you're prone? That's the question.
I think so.
So that's the kill tally swing point thing as I've just
That's
gone off of the
massive.
12 point totals that we were doing before. So this 20 includes the things like broken and leader kill and then fate, if my math is correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I looked at the rules and then I just went, nah, they're more like guidelines. We're going to have big numbers.
1720. I like that.
Yeah. So both are broken now and both have lost 16 models.
So currently, as it stands, it is 5 because there's a leader kill, so and more. So 5, 6-1. That's where it's sitting. 6-1 to Helm Hammerhand.
Yeah. Um,
No might, but there's still Mighty Hero and Free Heroic Combat's on the board. Yeah, look, it's basically just a Helm Hammerhand mop up from here, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
There's
Um,
not a lot of models left. Probably talking one, two, three, four, five that are done Harry models left.
yeah, that's it. Like this is. Oh, this is close. So Helm's just passed his first leadership test to stick around. Now,
Hmm.
I've been out of the game for so long, right? Like the first time I really got back into it was down at Tabletop.com,
Yep.
and then this event, and then obviously yours. So you pass your courage test when you're broken, you stick around. Do you then have to
Hmm.
take a courage test to charge?
Correct.
Okay, cool. So it's not just
Because
pass
you
one
passed,
and then do whatever you want.
yeah, yeah, you passed the courage test. You pass your stand fast. You then pass a courage test to see if you make the charge.
Gotcha.
Yep, and your stand fast kind of pops up at the end of your movements. So if Helm wanted to swing further around to help save the guys in the back over there, he definitely could have as well. It's an option. But you've also got the captain, who hopefully might roll double ones and can do that.
I always find it really interesting that the stand fast but heroic move rules are different. They're opposites. Whereas
Hmm.
it's very much this is where you end versus oh you started here, therefore everything needs to move.
But I feel like it works in the sense of a heroic move is a me first, whereas stand fast is a me last, who's with me.
I like that. I like that. That's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. All right, so that guy's in. I think that was a
And
reroll
Rohan's
of
making some decent leaderships here, dude.
yeah. Well, that was the reroll of the fates dice that you saw because the first one was a
Gotcha.
fail.
Gotcha.
Um, also, they've still got a banner, so they've just increased all of their chances of getting things in and getting it done.
Oh, mate, there's Helm's on the board here, and he's still got potentially one might to blow here. He's fine. He's so fine. At this rate, honestly, I would just be looking to move to that center objective. The army of the dead are not going to die, but the same token, too, you've got cavalry, they don't have cavalry. You've got Helm, they don't even have a leader.
Yeah, you just get it done. I like the fact that Sam measured up with where he was going to go with his captain, then bumped him an inch to the right, just into
Yeah.
the closest model. Great.
Hmm. Holy, look at all the dice. You know what? You got him.
And then, sure, why not? We'll take a free one and we'll move somewhere else.
Correct. Correct. And to be honest with you, Helm could have almost wrapped around into those two as well and had the pick of the lot while the captain went down to help with Standfast over to the corner. I'm just being picky because I can, Sam.
Yeah, we love you a lot, Sam. Don't worry, it's fun. Oh, mate. Um,
What we're witnessing here is what Helm does to this army every time. Boof, boof. Like he's just. It may as well be nighttime with a big old horn. That's
mm,
that's where it's at right now. Like, and these are not easy models to kill. These are Army of the Dead, D8 models, and Helm is just slicing through them like butter.
yeah, yeah. I
Oh, it's gross.
I look at it and a couple of turns ago, I thought Army of the Dead had got this for sure. They've just waltzed in and they've very quickly almost broken a list
Yeah.
while losing four models and just going, all right, we can do it. That's fine.
And how big, how much of a difference did Helm make? As soon as Helm joined that fight, what a difference! And you would never even, I don't even think Rohan would have broke if Helm had it. That turn that you and I were talking about, turn two, where I said Helm should have gone in there, or Helm, I would have put Helm there. I don't think that stops.
Oh mate, it's they rolled a four to check if they're broken. So
21.
21 out of
Bloody
22
hell.
models dead. There is one more Army of the Dead model left. And unfortunately, he didn't get any kills on any of the Rohan models. So they're still sitting at 16. They are still sitting at 16. Uh,
So one model left on the board. I feel like basically this is going to be a Helm captain wrap up and move forward. And they just done, oh no, maybe they rolled the one and that's it.
hmm.
GG. Good
Actually, I
night.
think they called it there.
Oh, fair enough. So basically at that point there, that's a concede. So it's a 12-0.
Yeah. Yeah,
Ooh, interesting. Look, to tell you the truth, it was looking really grim for Rohan at the start, though, wasn't it?
it was rough. I was
It really
rewatching
was.
this game. I thought, nah, Rohan, you've gone. Like you're just done. But yeah, this is beautiful, a beautiful game. I think, which I really
Yeah.
enjoyed.
Yeah, look, well done to both boys. It looked like a great game, communication wise as well. Like there was no sort of hands and things pointing and aggressiveness as well, which is always good to see. And I think it really spotlights uh, Queensland's play style. Like no one goes in looking or picking a fight, which is great. So
Yeah, exactly. I think both boys are actually in contention for best sport anyway. So it's almost
dope.
like two polite Canadians just talking to each other. Yeah, it's just nothing. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
haven't had the pleasure of playing Dylan, but I played Sam quite a few times now. It's always been a good shout. So Dylan's coming this weekend. I look forward to seeing what sort of uh, just jank he can pull out with the list that he's taking. It'd be cool.
that's exciting. But yeah, anyway,
Mm.
that's it. That's the first thing kind of done. So thanks for
That's cool,
jumping on with
man.
me.
No stress whatsoever. Um, if you don't mind, I'll just quickly pull people's attention to this big old goat behind me. We are, as formerly mentioned, Mountain Goat Gaming. We do a whole host of spotlighting different aspects of this hobby, where we're trying to basically build an international community around gameplay, tournaments, competitive chats, deep diving lists, and then also focusing on certain parts of the hobby and grabbing different people and kind of showcasing what they do and talking through their journey. So I'm really excited. It's definitely something that's way out of my realm of comfort, but I've jumped headfirst into this. So head on over, give us a like and subscribe. And yeah, hopefully I'll be back for more chats and commentary, right or wrong.
Oh mate, thank you so much for joining us. And everyone can find you on. You guys have obviously YouTube. Do you have
Nice.
Facebook page as well?
No, we have an Instagram at the moment, and
Mhm.
hopefully I'll be putting us up on Spotify because I don't even watch YouTube myself. I listen to things through Spotify, so I'll put myself on Spotify.
Easy. All right. Well, look, I will link. So obviously, I'll link the YouTube. I'll link the Instagram. And then when you get a Spotify, let me know, and I'll just edit the link, and it will look like it's always been there, and we'll put it down the memory hole. No one can
No
complain.
worries.
But yeah, perfect. All right, mate. Thanks for
Yes.
joining us. See
All
you all
right, have a
next
great
time.
night. Cool.